Here is the first vocabulary list for the article, "The Trouble with Talent." Please listen carefully and take notes so that when you come to class, you'll be prepared to work with the words in groups. So the first word is persistence. Persistence is a noun, and it means determination to do something even though it is difficult. Okay, so in the article we saw that the Japanese students were very persistent in their learning because they continued to work on and on problems even though they were difficult. Another example is students who demonstrate persistence get the highest grades. The next word is curriculum. The subjects that are taught by a school or the things that are studied in a particular subject. So the example sentence is, in the States, high-performing students follow a different curriculum than lower-performing students. This means that they're taking different classes than the lower-performing students. Next word is rote. So when you learn something by rote, it means you're repeating it many times. You're doing so in a mechanical way without really thinking about it carefully or understanding it. So an example is, American educators are opposed to learning by rote because it discourages creativity. In the article, we also learned that Americans believe that all Asian students only learn by rote, but this is just a stereotype. The next word is fixation. It is a noun, and it means an obsessive interest in or feeling about someone or something. An example sentence: Asians' fixation on the idea that everyone can succeed reflects in their high test scores. So in the article we see that they fixate on the fact that everybody can succeed. And Americans fixate on the idea that some people are born smart while other people are born without innate ability. Which brings us to our next word, innate. It is an adjective, and an innate quality or ability is something you are born with. In here can be a clue for you that it means something that comes inside of you. The example sentence is, success is not necessarily determined by innate ability. So you can succeed by working hard. You don't just have to have a talent or an inner ability that comes from birth or your genes. The next word is potential. It is a noun. It means that if people or things have potential, they could have a natural ability or quality that could develop and make them very good. So an example sentence: all students have the potential to be smart if they work hard. Gap. It's a noun, and it means a big difference between two situations, amounts, groups of people, etc. In the article, we saw that a large gap exists between black students' test scores and white students' test scores. There is also a large gap between test scores in the States and in different Asian countries. The next word is hard. And in this sense, it's an adjective, and it means physically or mentally difficult or not easy. My example sentence is, it is hard to convince people to believe that children aren't born smart. In the United States, that is. The next sentence is the next word, pervades. It's a verb, and it means If an idea pervades a place, it is present in every part of it. For example, the idea that you are born smart pervades American culture and thinking, meaning many people in American culture believe that this is true, that you are born with innate ability. Diligence is a noun. Someone who is diligent works hard and is careful and thorough. So we saw in the article that Japanese students worked with diligence to find the area of the triangle. They also worked diligently through the same problem as the American students, and they didn't give up, whereas the American students tended to give up quicker. Boils down. This is a verb, and it means to lead to the conclusion that, or to be simplified or summarized as. So what it boils down to, after reading this article, is that we should emphasize effort instead of innate ability. Boils down is the result. Track. Track is a noun, and it means the practice of putting school children in groups to follow a certain path together. For example, students who learn slowly are assigned to a different curriculum track than students who learn quickly. Track is similar to the word path also. Inferiority. This is a noun. When someone or something is not as good as someone or something else. For example, in America, students who have trouble learning have feelings of inferiority, meaning they don't feel as good as those students whose intelligence comes naturally and who seem to work and get everything in school. Rampant is an adjective. It means there's a lot of it and it is very difficult to control. So, an example sentence, views that you are born smart are rampant in American culture. On the contrary, views that you can get smart with hard work and diligence would be rampant in Asian culture. Bright. It's an adjective, and it doesn't mean bright like the sun. In this sense, it means intelligent and able to learn things quickly. For example, Asian students aren't necessarily brighter than American students. They just believe if they work hard, they will reach the solution. Dull. This is an adjective, and it means intellectually weak or obtuse. For example, just because a student appears dull doesn't mean he or she can't learn the material. So dull would be the opposite of bright, the word that came before. The next word is mania. It's a noun, and it means a very strong desire or interest in something, especially among a big group of people. So, for example, if we want our children to do well, we need to overcome our mania for the born smart belief system. And in this sense, this is referring to Americans. We need to get over the mania that you can only do well if you're born smart. Steer away from means to move or turn away from someone or something. For example, educators need to steer away from separating students according to their intelligence. We need to get away from segregating students. Like the Japanese believe, everybody can succeed and work together. 19. Threatened. Threatened is a verb, and it means to cause someone or something to be vulnerable or at risk, or endangered. My example sentence: Japanese students were not threatened by the difficulty of the math problem. Do you remember? They just persisted through it and they believed that they could get the answer. The last word, counts. It is a verb, and in this sense, it means to be important or valuable. So the belief that you can get smart is what counts, not that you are born smart. Thanks for listening.